Slavery, so much carnage. Sex.
They're pouring in, and we don't know what we're doing. The immigration laws of the United States give the president powers to suspend infinite number of any class of persons. Now, any class, it really is determined by the president for the interests of the United States, and it's as he or she deems appropriate. Hopefully, it's he in this case. Power to protect the American people. When I'm elected, I will suspend immigration from areas of the world where there is a proven history of terrorism against the United States, Europe, or our allies, until we fully understand how to end these threats. After a full, thank you. And by the way, we have no choice. After a full, impartial, and really long overdue security assessment, we will develop a responsible immigration policy that serves the interests and values of America. We cannot continue to allow thousands upon thousands of people to pour into our country, many of whom have the same thought process as this savage killer. Many of the principles of radical Islam are incompatible with Western values and institutions. Remember this: radical Islam is anti-woman, anti-gay, and anti-American. I refuse to allow America to become a place where gay people, Christian people, Jewish people are targets of persecution and intimidation by radical Islamic preachers of hate and violence. This is not just a national security issue. It's a quality of life issue. If we want to protect the quality of life for all Americans, women and children, gay and straight, Jews and Christians, and all people, then we need to tell the truth about radical Islam, and we need to do it now. We need to tell the truth also about how radical Islam is coming to our shores. And it's coming. With these people, folks, it's coming. We're importing radical Islamic terrorism into the West through a failed immigration system and through an intelligence community held back by our president. Even our own FBI director has admitted that we cannot effectively check the backgrounds of people we're letting into America. All of the September 11th hijacks were issued visas. Large numbers of Somali refugees in Minnesota have tried to join ISIS. The Boston bombers came here through political asylum. The male shooter in San Bernardino, again, whose name I will not mention, was the child of immigrants from Pakistan, and he brought his wife, the other terrorist, from Saudi Arabia through another one of our easily exploited visa programs. Immigration from Afghanistan into the United States has increased nearly fivefold in just 1 year. According to Pew Research, 99% of the people in Afghanistan support oppressive Sharia law. We admit many more, and that's just the way it is. We admit many more from other countries in the region, and I'll tell you what, they share these oppressive views and values. We want to remain a free and open society. Then, and if we do, then we have to control our borders. We have to control, and we have to control them now, not later, right now. Thank you. Yet Hillary Clinton, for months and despite so many attacks, repeatedly refused to even say the words radical Islam until I challenged her yesterday. And guess what? She will probably say them. She sort of has said them, but let's see what happens. She really has no choice, but she doesn't want. However, she's really been forced, and she has been forced to say these words. She supports, and the reason is she supports so much of what is wrong and what is wrong with this country and what's going wrong with our country and our borders. She has no clue, in my opinion, what radical Islam is, and she won't speak honestly about it if she does, in fact, know. She's in total denial, and her continuing reluctance to ever name the enemy broadcasts weakness across the entire world. True weakness. Just a few weeks before, the slaughter, Hillary Clinton explained her refusal to say the words radical Islam. Here is what she said, exact quote. Muslims are peaceful and tolerant people and have nothing whatsoever to do with terrorism. That is Hillary Clinton. So she says the solution is to ban guns. They tried that in France, which has among the toughest gun laws anywhere in the world, and 130 people were brutally murdered by Islamic terrorists in cold blood. Her plan is to disarm law-abiding America, abolishing the Second Amendment, and leaving only the bad guys and terrorists with guns. No good. Not going to happen, folks. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Thank you. She wants to take away American guns and then admit the very people who want to slaughter us. Let them come into the country. We don't have guns. Let them come in. Let them have all the fun they want. I will be meeting with the NRA, which has given me their earliest endorsement in a presidential race, to discuss how to ensure Americans have the means to protect themselves in this age of terror. I will be always defending the Second Amendment. The bottom line is that Hillary supports policies that threat of radical Islam into America and allow it to grow overseas, and it is growing. In fact, Hillary Clinton's catastrophic immigration plan will bring vastly radical Islamic immigration into this country, threatening not only our society, but our entire way of life. When it comes to radical Islamic terrorism, ignorance is not bliss. It's deadly, totally deadly. The Obama administration, with the support of Hillary Clinton and others, has also damaged our security by restraining our intelligence gathering, and we have just no intelligence gathering information. We need this information so badly, and he stopped it. We don't have the support. We don't have the support of the law enforcement system because Obama is not letting them do their job. They are not being allowed to do their job, and they can do it better than anybody. We need a new leader. We need a new leader fast. They have put political correctness above common sense, above your safety, and above all else. I refuse to be politically correct. I want to do the right thing. I want to straighten things out, and I want to make America great again. The days of deadly ignorance will end, and they will end soon if I'm elected. As president, I will give our intelligence community, law enforcement, and military and with our allies, very important. I will have an Attorney General, a Director of National Intelligence, and a Secretary of Defense who will know how to fight the war on radical Islamic terrorism. And they will have the support that they need to get the job done right, not like it is right now. It's not right. We also must ensure the American people are provided the information they need to understand the threat. The Senate Subcommittee on Immigration has already identified hundreds of immigrants charged with terrorist activities inside the United States since September 11th. Nearly a year ago, the Senate Subcommittee asked President Obama's Department of Justice, State, and Homeland Security to provide the immigration history of all terrorists inside the United States. These departments refused to comply. Nobody even knows why. They refused to comply. President Obama must release the full and complete immigration histories of all individuals implicated in terrorist activities of any kind since September 11th. So important. The public has a right to know how these people got here, how they came onto this great land. Why are they here? We have to screen applicants to know whether they are affiliated with or supporting radical groups and beliefs. Very simple. We have to control the amount of future immigration into this country. And we have to prevent large pockets of radicalization from forming inside America. Not complicated. And just think of this, take a look. Every single event, even a single individual can be devastating. And all you have to do is take a look at what happened in Orlando and what happened in other cases, just a single event. And just one person. Can you imagine what they'll do in large groups, which we're allowing now to happen? Truly, our president doesn't know what he's doing. He's failed us, and he's failed us now. And under his leadership, this situation will not get any better. It will only get worse. And I can say that for a long time. Each year, the United States publicly admits 100,000 immigrants from the Middle East, and many more from Muslim countries outside of the Middle East. Our government has been admitting ever-growing numbers year after year without any effective plan in their own security. In fact, Clinton's State Department was in charge with admissions and the admission process for people applying to enter from overseas. Having learned nothing from these attacks, she now plans to massively increase admissions without a screening plan, including a 500% increase in Syrian refugees coming into our country. Tell me, how stupid is that? This could be a better, bigger, more horrible version than the legendary Trojan horse ever was. Altogether, under the Clinton plan, you'd be admitting hundreds of thousands of refugees from the Middle East with no system to help them or to prevent the radicalization of the children and their children. Not only their children, by the way, we're trying to take over their children and convince them how wonderful ISIS is and how wonderful Islam is, and we don't know what's happening. The burden is on Hillary Clinton to tell us why she believes immigration from these dangerous countries should be increased without any effective system to really just screen. We're not screening people. So why don't we have an effective screening system? We don't. We're being laughed at all over the world. The burden is on Hillary Clinton to tell us why we should admit anyone into our country who supports violence of any kind against gay and lesbian Americans. The burden is on Hillary Clinton to tell us how she will pay for it. Her plan will cost hundreds of billions of dollars long term. Wouldn't it be money better spent rebuilding America for our population, including the many poor people already living here? We have cities, we have inner cities, we have poverty all over, and this is how we're spending billions of dollars. We have to stop the tremendous flow of Syrian refugees into the United States. We don't know who they are, they have no documentation, and we don't know what they're planning, and we won't unless we have proper supervision and proper leadership, in which case they're out of here. What I want is common sense. I want a mainstream immigration policy that promotes American values. That's a choice I put before the American people. A mainstream immigration policy designed to benefit America, or Hillary Clinton's radical immigration policy designed to benefit politically correct special interests. That's all it is. We've got to get smart and tough and vigilant, and we've got to do it now, because later is too late, going to be too late for our country. The media talks about homegrown terrorism, but Islamic radicalism, and that's a very, very important term, a term that the president refuses to use, and the networks that nurture it are imports from overseas, whether you like it or whether you don't like it. Yes, there are many radicalized people already inside our country as a result of poor policies of the past. But the whole point is that we will be much, and it will be easier to deal with our current problem if we don't keep on bringing people who add to the problem. And that's what they're doing. We're letting all of these people, hundreds of thousands of people, come in. And all they're doing is add to this incredible problem we have. For instance, the controversial mosque attended by the Boston bombing had as its founder, an immigrant from overseas charged in an assassination plot. This shooter, and amazingly, in Orlando, was the child of an immigrant father who supported one of the most repressive regimes on earth. Why would we admit people who support violent hatred? Hillary Clinton can never claim to be a friend of the gay community as long as she continues to support immigration policies that bring Islamic extremists to our country and who suppress women, gays, and anyone else who doesn't share their views or values. She can't have it both ways. She can't claim to be supportive of these communities while trying to increase the number of people coming in who want to oppress these same communities. How does this kind of immigration make our lives better? How does this kind of immigration make our country better? Why does Hillary Clinton want to bring people in vast numbers who reject our values? Why? Explain. Ask yourself, who's really the friend of women and the LGBT community? Donald Trump with actions or Hillary Clinton with her words? I will tell you who the better friend is. And someday, I believe that will be proven out big league. And by the way, the LGBT community is just, what's happened to them is just so sad. And to be thinking about where their policies are currently with this administration is a disgrace to that community, I will tell you right now. Clinton wants to allow radical Islamic terrorists to pour into our country. They enslave women, and they murder gays. I am in our country. Immigration is a privilege, and we should not let anyone into this country who doesn't support our communities, all of our communities, every single one of them. America has already admitted 4 times more immigrants than any country on earth, anybody in the world, 4 times more, at least, because we don't even know who's coming. And we continue to admit millions more with no real checks or scrutiny. Not surprisingly, wages for our workers haven't budged in almost 20 years. You wonder why we get the crowds, you wonder why we get this tremendous support, you wonder why we run more votes than any Republican, anybody in the history of the Republican Party. Take a look at that. Look at your security. But take a look at the wages. For 18 years, they've been stagnant. They've even gone down. So whether it's a matter of national security or financial security, we can't afford to keep on going like this, cannot afford it. We owe $19 trillion in debt and no longer have any options. Our communities from all backgrounds are ready for some relief. This is not an act of offense against anyone. It's really an act of defense. I want us all of us, to work together. We have to form a partnership with our Muslim communities. We have Muslim communities in this country that are great, and we have to form that partnership. Now, the Muslim community, so importantly, they have to work with us. They have to cooperate with law enforcement and turn in the people who they know are bad, and they know it. And they have to do it, and they have to do it forthwith. I want to fix our schools. I want to fix our bridges. And our jobs market, we're going to have it rocket again. We're going to make great trade deals. But I want every American to succeed, including Muslims. But the Muslims have to work with us. They have to work with us. They know what's going on. They know that he was bad. They knew the people in San Bernardino were bad. But you know what? They didn't turn them in. And we had death and destruction. Hillary Clinton wants to empty out the Treasury to bring people into the country that include individuals who preach hate against our citizens. I want to protect our citizens, all of our citizens. The terrorist attack on Pulse nightclub demands a full and complete investigation into every single aspect of the assault. In San Bernardino, as an example, people who know what was going on, they knew exactly, but they used the excuse of racial profiling for not reporting it. They said, oh, we thought so, but we didn't want to use racial profiling, which was probably an excuse given to them by their lawyer so they don't get in trouble. We need to know what the killer discussed with his relatives, parents, friends, and associates. We need to know if he was affiliated with any radical mosques or radical activists, and what, if any, is their immigration status. We have to know, and we have to know fast. We need to know if he traveled anywhere and who he traveled with. We need to know, and we need to make sure every single last person involved in this plan, including anyone who knew something but didn't tell us, is brought to justice. So when people know what's going on and they don't tell us, and we have an attack and people die, these people have to have consequences, big consequences. America must do more, much more, to protect its citizens, especially people who are potential victims of crimes based on their backgrounds or sexual orientation, as you just saw in Orlando. It also means we must change our foreign policy. The decision to overthrow the regime in Libya, then pushing for the overthrow of the regime in Syria, among other things, without plans for the day after, have created space for ISIS to expand and grow like nobody has ever seen before. These actions, along with our disastrous Iran deal, have also reduced our ability to work in partnership with our Muslim allies in the region. That is why our new goal must be to defeat Islamic terrorism, not nation building. No more nation building. It's never going to work. And by the way, we've spent almost $5 trillion over the years on trying to nation build in the Middle East. And it has been a complete and total disaster. We're further away now than we were 15 years ago. For instance, the last major NATO mission was Hillary Clinton's war in Libya. That mission helped unleash ISIS on a new continent. I've said NATO needs to change its focus and stop terrorism. We have to focus on terrorism, and we have to stop terrorism. Since I've raised that criticism, and it's okay, I've gotten no credit for it, but these are minor details, NATO has since announced a new initiative, front page of the Wall Street Journal 4 days ago, focused on just that. America must unite the whole civilized world in the fight against Islamic terrorism. Pretty much like we did with communism during the Cold War. We've tried it President Obama's way. Doesn't work. He gave the world his apology tour. We got ISIS and many other problems in return. That's what we got. Remember the famous apology tour. We're sorry for everything. I'd like to conclude my remarks today by again expressing our solidarity with the people of Orlando who have come under this horrific attack. When I'm president, I pledge to protect and defend all Americans who live inside our borders. Wherever they come from, wherever they were born, I don't care. All Americans living here and following our laws, not other laws, will be protected. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to be tough, and we're going to be smart, and we're going to do it right. America will be a tolerant and open society. America will also be a safe society. We will protect our borders at home. We will defeat ISIS overseas. We have no choice. We will ensure every parent can raise their children in peace and safety. We will make America rich again. We will make America safe again. We will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, that was Donald Trump, who's actually running for president. He's the Republican nominee for president, and that was his take on what you should do about terrorism. And that was his statement on what occurred this past Saturday, June 11th, in Orlando, Florida. There was a terrorist attack. A man basically went into a gay nightclub and started shooting people at random. No particular rhyme or reason other than to promote terrorism. Like I said before, terrorism, they don't care how it's done. They just want it done and they want to take credit for it. So there you go. But it is interesting that Donald Trump says that he is for. Oh, first I should mention that the source of this video is from MSNBC Live. Again, the source of not video, but this audio is from MSNBC Live, and I am Kathy Brox of LUTG Radio, WKKP Digital Broadcasting. Now, back to what I was saying. It's interesting that Donald Trump is now claiming to champion LGBT and all Americans of all races, regardless of where they came from. But you can't help to understand that if you're going to champion someone, you should actually know what the acronym is. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual. LGBT, not LBGT. That's the other thing. The community may care, may not care. Usually I'm corrected when I say it, if I say it wrong, and they want you to know. The other thing is, you can't help but to remember that he called all Spanish people racist. Mexican Spanish. He wants to close the border so that they don't come in from Mexico because all are rapists, all are criminals. All that jargon, all that stuff he was speaking about and continues to speak about, and he wants to put up borders for this and keep out the bad people, and he wants to now have people turn in people. Does anybody remember how the Jews were killed? 6 million Jews. They were basically led to Auschwitz. They were told that they were going on a trip and that they were going into safety, but yet they were basically marched into gas chambers, and their neighbors began to turn on them. Hitler told the neighbors to turn in all Jews or to turn in those that were not for Hitler. And even if you were a Jew that was for Hitler, you eventually got killed or something. And And to just think about him telling people, first he told white men to strike out against black men, and they did it at his rallies. And then he told, now he didn't say exactly that, he just emphasized it in so many words. So he didn't say, yo, white men, go out and attack, black men, but he said it in such a way that, because I don't have the exact wording, so I'm just trying to give you a summary. He said it in such a way that these older white men began to hit these black men. And you saw that at this event, at one of his rallies. It was caught on tape. The man was walking up the stairs, and this man just basically punched him for no reason. He just punched him. And then you have people that are attacking other people at his rallies, and you have him saying these horrible things about people, and yet he wants to now say that, oh, I'm for all Americans. And then he says, I'm only for Americans as long as they obey all the laws. Turn in the people that are bad people. Excuse me, jaywalking is a crime. So then do we then turn in all of the jaywalkers? That would include children and old people too, that normally follow the law, but today they decided to jaywalk. Do we then turn in all the jaywalkers? So he wants to put us back in an era where everybody's turning on each other. A house divided against itself will definitely fall. And it seems as though if he wants to be president, he has to understand that he has to be president of all of America. But he doesn't seem to have that temperament to be president of all of America. You can't be a president of the wealthy or a president of the goody two shoes, because everybody has sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. This is true. And you can't just be a president of this Muslim, but not that Muslim. You can't be a president of this Christian and not that Christian. It's ridiculous, because not too long ago, it was a crime to be gay. So that if it was a crime to be gay, then how can you champion the LGBT community? How can you? If you are for all the laws that were ever written and you don't want to change anything, then are you only a champion for them until you get their vote? And so I'm just wondering. I'm wondering what is really going on in his head. What is he saying? Because he'll say one thing and do another. So I mean, it's no secret that I'm not exactly for Trump, but I do want to give him an opportunity, like, because we recorded Hillary, give him an opportunity to express himself, because this is America. We all have freedom of speech. And the fact that he doesn't understand that this is America and that we're all freedoms and we all have freedom, and we're not to lump one person that does one thing, we're not to lump the entire group as all rapists, or lump the entire group as all criminals, or lump the entire group as all this or all that. We got to consider that this is America, the land of the free, and we actually do need somebody as president that sees all Americans and will fight as one. And I personally, I like that Hillary said, one American is all Americans. One American is all Americans. So you make your own decision. You absolutely have to register to vote for the person that you believe is the right person for your views. I would hope that you would choose based on experience and based on a temperament for all Americans. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm just saying we cannot have a house divided. This is America. People see us as a superpower and they want to try and take us down. So if we are divided from the head up, it's going to make a weak nation. So definitely pray about it. Definitely register to vote. And this is Kathy Bronx for LUTG Radio, WKKP Digital Broadcasting, Chicago, Illinois.